Today's video takes a look at another of the products of Judges Guild. This is the Castle Book, number 1. Please stick around. I'm AZ Mountaineer. This is our channel, Old School Rules, where we celebrate the community of old school gamers and grognards who like classic RPGs, miniatures, magazines, and everything that goes with it. Today's video continues our look at the numerous products put out by Judges Guild. This is another of the products that did not come in their subscription service and was available for direct order from the company. This is the Castle Book number 1 from 1978. Hope you enjoy the video. So this product, as I mentioned, comes out in 1978. It's the size, we're used to, sort of magazine or module sized, more or less 8.5 by 11, but it's really 11 by 17 paper folded in half. Stapled on the sides is regular paper, nothing heavy stock, for the cover. It's got its copyright information, some pages for notes, some charts, and then just page after page of different castle or fortification designs that you could use in their campaign hex system. So let's take a look at what we had here. 1978, credit is given to Bob Bledsoe, Bill Davis, and Mark Holmer in terms of the creation for this. They also say additional designers, John Kiesel and Mark Summerlot, whose names you may recognize. The cost would have been $2.75. You would have purchased this directly from them. Was not included in any of the monthly or bi-monthly mailings they put out. It's item number 60 on the booty list or treasure vault list. And it's a 64-page booklet just made out of paper. Here's our cover. This is by England, who is one of the artists who did a lot of work for them. As you can see here, it's part of their campaign hexagon subsystem. Interestingly, no mention of their connection to Dungeons & Dragons, which they did put on most of their products. As they say, you're going to have some campaign guidelines and castles placed on numbered hex grids. $2.75. There's a few different printings. The second printing comes along with different cover art. This one now has a castle, right, with the road going over this, over a river or some stream and coming into the front of the castle. And you'll see down there at the bottom, now they stick on their official campaign aid for Dungeons & Dragons. Then there's a subsequent printing that has basically just a piece of paper and color that would have been in front of the actual booklet. And this, the final version here you'll see at the bottom, right, says a Judges Guild Universal Fantasy Supplement, because around 82, the license agreement with TSR expires, that it's not renewed, and they have to trade out the references to D&D to be for something a little more generic, but the contents remain the same, except for some of the artwork in here changes over time. I don't have I checked, I don't have later printings that'd show you the different artwork that comes along later. Here's the inside cover page. It just sort of tells you what this is for, right? This will fill the need of the active campaign judge, help him populate large areas of the world map. Remember, they have this hex system, the big map around the city-state of the Invincible Overlord, the Woodlands of High Fantasy, and they're all hexes. So I'll put a link up here to the installment that I covered that had the Village book, which was just a very similar product to this, right, where they gave you a hex. It had some little villages on it. These have, of course, castles. And there's a third one for islands. We'll do that in a future video. All sort of similar design structure. And then they give you their table of contents here, right? Castle index, and there's a bunch of charts. We're going to go over those, and then a number of castle maps, pages 13 through 60. Okay. So this is the first thing, and you get these multiple pages, and they say page 13, 14, and on 4 different pages they give you the number of each. That would be each page in the booklet, and then you could go in and you could make notes. So like this design, I'm going to put this on hex number, and you would fill in the number on their large world campaign map, right? So maybe this is to the east of the city-state of the Invincible Overlord. That's hex, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you put that so you knew where that was. You put a name for that castle or keep or whatever you wanted to call it. The population, the type, civilization that's there, the alignment information about the ruler, any particular resources or other notes you might want to make here. So you have this little index at the beginning of the book to help you find this later on once you've placed some of these or all of these maybe on your world map. In terms of charts, Bledsoe loves charts. So the first thing he has, you roll a d6, And you get the number of wall sections. This is if you want to make up your own castle, right, or modify some of these wall sections, and it can be anywhere from 2 to 12 on the low end to 12 to 72 on the high end. And then number of, that's for citadel, and then castles would be 1 to 6 on the low end, 6 to 36 on the high end. Then you also roll for wall thickness and type. If you roll 1 to 6, it'll be earth. Unless you get a 6, then it becomes wood, and you would roll with d6. If you got a 6 again, now that wall becomes brick, stone, marble, or grading. And you just sort of randomly, by getting a 6, would continue to improve the strength of the wall. Of course, I say with all these charts, I think a good referee will use this for inspiration and maybe not be wed to rolling randomly everything, but it gives you some really good information to think about. In terms of height of your wall, it says multiply the number in parentheses on the wall thickness chart by the actual thickness. Like earth is 2, wood, brick 4, stone 3, marble 3. Right? And then to get your wall length, multiply the thickness by 1 foot to 20 foot. And that could be a D20 roll if you wanted to make it random. Okay. Then in terms of your wall characteristics, they've got some charts here you can roll. Secret gates, stained, carved, battered, spikes on top, points on top, castellated, arrow slits. It's crumbling, has a cantilevered platform, parapets, glass embedded, overgrown, has a dry ditch, a moat, iron reinforced, magically reinforced, or small gate tower, towers on both ends. They got a chart for wall defenses. Could be none, crossbows, spear traps, arrow traps, nets, gas spheres, tar pots, mirrors, creatures, pits, magical protection, catapults, mazes, invisible blade barriers, mines, dart throwers, Greek fire. If you have a moat, then there's some creatures. You roll d10. Crocodiles, sharks, eels, snakes, slugs, crabs, spiders, leeches, otters, or lizards. If you have an empty ditch, so like no water, lions, tigers, hyenas, panthers, scorpions, bears, trolls, owlbears, saber-toothed cats, or salamanders. And then if you want to put some random locations along the outer wall, you have curtains, drawbridges, cisterns, great hall, barracks, kitchen, smithy, well, outer ward, inner ward, cesspit, ramp, moat, ditch, stable, stores, dungeon, cellar, or escape tunnel. Again, the ideas are great for inspiration, if nothing else. So the next thing we have, we're going to populate this castle or this keep, right? Roll a d6. You get your garrison size, 10 to 60 if you get a 1, 50 to 300 if you get a 6. Their technical level, they have 6 levels. Your morale, 6 levels. And then there's abbreviations here that we would use to describe the different types of troops. And you, again, more charts, right? So you roll here based on the garrison technical level. You roll d10. You find out what sort of like the composition is going to be of your troops. You know, light foot, heavy foot. That's your infantry, pikemen, short bows, long bows, crossbows, and then cavalry. So you've got light, medium, heavy horses, etc. So you get that breakdown. Then we're going to get our leader, which is obviously pretty important. So you roll a d100. Fighters, cleric, magic users, all the different classes are there, as well as 93 to 0. Double 0 is a special. And so come back to the special in a minute. So then you would do the leader level, anywhere from 3rd level to 16th level, or a special again. And then leader type, man, elf, all the different races, half elf, but then also orcs, goblins, gnomes, kobolds, gnolls, hobgoblins, ogres, trolls, and also special. So your special leader would be basically multi-class, including an option that you could be a god. So we'll probably scratch that, I think, in my campaign, right? Your special leader level would be, oddly, on a 1, it's really low, so it's a 2nd level. But then from 2 through 6 on your roll, it starts for level 17 through 21. Special leader type, ogre, magi, giant, titan, dragon, demon, or lich. I think it's pretty cool. Very low chance, and again, probably I wouldn't roll these things up, but you certainly could really quickly, and then maybe just see if you like it or not. In this day with random computer generation, if you plugged all this stuff in, you could just hit a button, see what you like. Maybe it gives you a creative campaign idea, right? And then the giants have a subtable for the type of giant. The dragons have a subtable for the color of the dragon. And if you rolled a demon, there's a subtable for the type of demon. If you don't have some things like that, monsters that have prescribed alignments, there's a chart to roll the alignment of your leader and their disposition. Are they angry? Are they bored? Are they friendly? Whatever the case may be, if you want that chart. Now that we have our leader, let's talk about their special followers. This is in addition to the troops. And so there's a chart for each, like a fighter, a good cleric, an evil cleric, magic users, druids, thieves, assassins, whatever. And everybody's got a different list. And so that can be other, adventure types, golems, monsters, mind flayers, giants, animals. The list kind of goes on and on. It's really, again, quite good for the for inspiration. Here's just more of the same. Basically, anything you can find in the monster manual, they kind of have here as an option as well. And here we go with different types of creatures, and in particular down here at the bottom, if you get the specials of different alignments, they have some alignment-based creatures out of the monster manual, in addition to adventures that might be there as well. When you get to the map section, and I'll get myself out of the way for this stuff, you see here it's just hexes, and then there's the fortification is there. Sometimes there's a road, sometimes there are trees, swamps, elevations, different things like that might show up. And then I'll just go through here and show you a few of these that have the maps just closer in. So here's one that's got a lot of walls, looks very sturdy and strong, fairly large in terms of the size of the hex. Here's one that's up on, sort of sitting on a bluff. Here's a small one. This kind of looks like maybe it would, in my mind, be like a wizard's tower because of the design. And again, a little tiny one off to the side here. Some funky shapes are there. This one looks a little bit more like a keep of some sort, and it's got a waterway, I think, there to the side. This one looks like it sits at a crossroads where the road actually goes right through the middle of the town or the fortified area. And again, and this looks more like a walled town than it does a castle to me, as does this one. There's a smaller one with some guard towers and some copse of trees and a little plateau. So that just gives you an example. And again, there's like 50 pages of those different castles. There's some cool art in here. I think it's all by England, although it's not all signed. So maybe the stuff that's not signed is somebody else. You've got somebody taking care of a horse. You've got a little, it's like a jousting match or a fight going on over there. Then there's a picture of a keep sitting up on top of a bluff. Just a random couple pictures of a adventuring party or a group of soldiers on the top, and then a fighting group down here at the bottom. So this is sort of their booty list page. It has some products that are for sale. We've covered most of those. There's a couple we haven't done videos about yet, but we will. And again, these are things that are for sale. A couple of these were offered in their monthly subscriptions, and some of these are things that were only available if you purchased them separately. On the next to last page on the inside is a piece of art England has done. This is basically this knight standing by the portcullis coming. I don't know if he or she's coming out of the castle or there to defend the castle, but just kind of a nice piece of art. I understand that is something that gets replaced with different art in a later version. And then on the back page, or back cover, we have this art, illustration by the Sorcerer's Guild. There's several times you see that Sorcerer's Guild art credit given in Judges Guild product, and they always have these initials down here at the bottom, DEA. And so far, I've never figured out who the actual person is who's responsible for this art, but it's always really, really good art. Okay, so that's our look at the Castle Book number 1. There is, as you might imagine, a Castle Book number 2, and when we get down the line into some later years, we'll cover that product when we get there. Hope you guys are enjoying the Judges Guild series. A lot of really great products from the early era of the hobby. I hope you're enjoying the channel, and I hope that you're subscribed. If you have friends who might be interested in our content, please send them our way so we can expand our subscriber base. Have a great day, and until next time, my friends, keep rolling 20s.